yet. So that is one thing that this does too, is it contains Best. Best has the Observer though, perfect timing with the Observer, getting it right out there, trying to catch these lurkers. He does catch one lurker, so Best overall is playing a really good game here. I gotta say, like you said, he cut corners by not having the cannons in his base, and that was kind of poor by Best, but otherwise he's pretty much in full production. But in the meantime, FireFist is still running well off his third base, and I think he's getting his fourth, that mineral only out there that's on Byzantium II now.
Well, he's making a lot of lurkers, and he does not have a lot, at least from what I've seen, to really defend all of his overlords. And I think that momentarily Best might go on a rampage and kill a bunch of the overlords. And oh wow, the Scourge actually catching up there. Okay, so we do see some Scourge coming out. We do see some Hydralisks coming out. Okay, so FireFist is producing, and I gotta say, you know, FireFist earlier on when he went for the rush strategy and then I think switched over, that wasn't a bad thing. Wow. So that was a bad thing. I thought it was kind of good. I thought he was able to switch his modes and try to just go into the 5-base build. And I think that attack was pretty good as well. He committed. He got, you know, a lot of kills with those Mutalisks. So we've seen some good play from FireFist. Best is just so strong right now. Going in, he has a lot of units, but a FireFist is also bringing a lot of units in as well. A lot of Hydralisks, and here is the critical part. Oh, I'm waiting for where are the storms? Where are the storms? We need some storms here. I don't know if the Templar just don't have any energy. We don't see any attempts at sniping the Templar. FireFist really should have brought in his Mutalisk here to try to snipe the Templar. That is something that, in mentioning the game, there's a kind of a poor storm there. In mentioning the game against Bisu with Shine did an amazing job in one of those games, sniping all of Bisu's Templars with his Mutalisk. A better storm coming off, and I think the storms are going to barely keep Best through in defending this base coming in here. Now Best does come out with quite a few units there. Not a bad attack from FireFist. Best finally got enough energy in those Templars when he was able to use them properly. So good job defending. But again, I mean, we need to see some more micro from FireFist. We need to see going in, taking out the critical units, going in for an attack, maybe from multiple angles here. He just kind of ran in there, and that's not going to get the job done against Best, because Best does have the superior micro here. So we're going to see if FireFist is going to be able to macro up enough to be able to do some A-move action, and, you know, because he does have the lesser APM, try to kind of overrun Best. I don't really see that happening at this point. Best has 3 bases up. Granted, FireFist is at 4, so FireFist is staying on par with Protoss because he is up 1 base. Another attack coming in here, and we do see the Archons looks like getting target fired, and a lot of lurkers here actually. So this is actually going to try to take out some of the Archons. Again, they're just kind of going back and forth, and I see Best as kind of getting the better hand in a lot of these with less units.
Well, Best is actually struggling right now because he doesn't have Storm. If you see that Templar, it does not have Storm. He's trying to fake like he has Storm, but he doesn't have Storm. This is really bad. Zealots versus Speed Hydras. Hydras win as long as they micro. So there's one thing I was worried about Best earlier, even the earlier attacks, is he didn't have the Templar. He had the Archons, but I was worried that if FireFist just made a bunch of Hydras, he'd be able to take down Best. And Best has been pretty careless. Looks like he's controlling his Observers a little better now, but he's been pretty careless with Observers. There's a Storm. Ooh, good Storm. FireFist backing into that Storm, so actually good placement there. But actually, Best is in a little bit of trouble because he is kind of contained right now, and as long as FireFist keeps pumping Hydras and keeps rallying him there, it's going to be difficult for Best to be able to combat that because the Storm, you know, it only recharges so quickly. But luckily, Best does have that Observer, so he's able to keep the Lurkers back. But as soon as that Observer is sniped, then, I mean, that's just going to open the floodgates of units coming in, because then FireFist knows he can bring in the Lurkers in. So earlier I was really worried about that. Best, honestly, he hasn't shown the greatest micro, but really good Storm there. More bad dodging by FireFist, but FireFist was busy picking off of his Observers, and now that he has picked off the Observers, there's not much Best can do against these Lurkers. Tons of Zealots. Zealots are terrible against Lurkers. As long as Best can get an Observer out there, he'll be okay, but right now he's just so Zealot heavy, and Zealots are just not ideal against Hydras unless you have a lot of Templar to back them up too.
Well, the Zealot strategy is really just to try to push and keep FireFist at bay, but a great job with Storms as well. I mean, he's doing that. He's keeping FireFist at bay. We haven't seen what's going on in Best base. I don't know. Okay, here come the Dragoons. So he is going to be able to surround, good surround, and actually FireFist kind of getting himself surrounded there by kind of going between the units, so not a very good move. But we see FireFist doing what I said he needed to do. FireFist is trying to take out the Observers. He is going in. He's making tactical snipes, which is exactly what you want to do. There is one observer out right now. Best has one observer. He is slowly pumping observers out. And if FireFist can go in there again, take that out, he's going to have another frontal attack that he's going to be able to do. And FireFist is in great shape economically. He is going to be able to totally pump units. Other than that attack, well, I guess when they both kind of swapped mining units there, Best still, if he can get enough Templar out, if he can keep storming, if he can hang on to that front base there, which he has been doing, I think Best can certainly get back into this game. Not that he's really out of this game. We are possibly going to see a drop coming up here. We see kind of a large assembly there of overlords. So some drop tech coming out, but that drop tech could get intercepted because we see a lot of dragoons here being built. So it looks like Best has finally switched into the more effective unit against Hydralisk, which is the dragoons, and he is going to kind of swing down here. I don't know if he's trying to hide or if he's trying to go up for a side attack, but a drop is going to come in here. We haven't seen those Corsairs come into a lot of play here, but here is the Corsair right now. Best! I don't know if he saw that. I don't think that Best saw that, but he is going to see these overlords coming through right now. He's going to suggest something, so he's going to mobilize the troops here and bring over the dragoons. Now he sees it. He knows it's going on, and that sucks for FireFist, dude. Another fire fail there. Not really his fault, but that's too bad.
Surprised, actually, Best doesn't have more Corsairs in the air, especially now that this is going on. It'd probably be wise to build some more Corsairs because there haven't been a lot of Scourge out in the air for FireFist. Those dragoons are going to be good against lurkers. I think that's the main reason that Best built them. I mean, Zealots are great as a staple for the Zerg army, Zerg versus Protoss, even against Hydras, because they push up on the Hydras, but you need Storm to supplement. You can't just have Zealots, so that's why he was having a hard time earlier. I do think if Best can secure this fourth, though, he's definitely in the game. Certainly, like you said, I think FireFist has a big advantage. We saw him earlier putting out some drones, and whenever you see a Zerg putting out drones, you know he's pretty comfortable because you've got to use the same larva that you build units to build drones. So if you're building drones, that means you're pretty comfortable when you're able to build drones. So it does look like FireFist is pretty comfortable. He's got his 4 bases. He's got another hatchery going up in the bottom left, I believe.
Yep.
Which took him actually a little while to get, but still that's 5 bases versus Best now gaining his 5th. But big push here from the front. Best might get surrounded, though, between the Sunkens and these lurkers. Oh, Storm coming in, kills some Scourge and a couple of lurkers. Oh, good Storm actually getting another one of those lurkers. See if we can see another good Storm. Another good Storm is going to kill 2 of those lurkers. Best pushing in with the observers, with the dragoons. FireFist's forces are out of place here. Zerglings rushing in from the side, getting killed. Piecemeal forces coming in. This is really bad for FireFist. FireFist needs to back up. He cannot commit. Getting stormed on the ramp. Brilliant storms by Best. Goodness gracious, all those freaking Zerglings and Hydralisks just went down. Complete ownage by Best. Oh my gosh, just totally failure there by FireFist. Another storm on the ramp. Just not what you want to be doing. You do not want to be moving down that ramp. This is terrible. Terrible for FireFist. I gotta say, this base is gonna go down.
This looks like a UMS defense game right here. We are seeing Best just line up all of his units, sit them in a clump, and just kill all of the units that are coming down. These drones are gonna die. Yeah, bring the drones to the defense line. There you go. Bring them through the Archons. Wow. So FireFist is gonna lose this base. Tons of Zealots streaming in here. I think this is gonna be the end. No, I know this is gonna be the end for FireFist here. Sure, he got up the base at the bottom left, but Best is just absolutely overwhelming. FireFist not playing the most strategically, just bringing in all of his units, moving them in rather than possibly waiting and then attacking at the right moment and drawing in Best. And Best, I think this is going to be the finishing blow. Not enough storming the drones, a terrible storm, but feeling that he actually has the ability to do so. And I think these are the last moments of FireFist. Now, if FireFist loses this, he still will be able to go on to play piano. Play piano. Anyways, so FireFist is not out of this completely. But I think Best is going to move on. And if Best wins this, he is moving on.
There's GG.
Done.
Good game. I gotta say that it was a pretty close battle, but you can just see the difference between a player like FireFist and a player like Best. Best did make some mistakes that game, but not as huge a mistake as FireFist just made there. That game was thrown away, in my opinion. FireFist had an advantage, and even with all the forces he had, he probably had a max army, and that's why he was just like, well, I'll just A-move down this ramp. And as you saw there, you can't A-move against Storm. People could say, well, Storm is cheap, but, well, only if you run your units down a huge clump and get stuck on a ramp. So, very failed attack or defense by FireFist. He should have taken his units around and tried to surround Best from both sides, or at least split up his army, or even just sacked the base and countered or something. Yeah. But what he did was probably the worst thing he could possibly have done. And, you know, maybe he couldn't have predicted that. Maybe he didn't know how many Templar Best had. But pretty much just got owned there. You saw that face stomp for yourself.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to go to loser match. But great news, I have to say. I am excited because Best moved on. And I have to say, Moltrap, it's in your face.
In your face, Moltrap! Oh, God.
Yeah, I'll talk about it next game.
We'll talk about it next game. So there's Best looking like a badass. I would have liked to see FireFist use all those overlords and just do a drop in the back or a drop in the base. Or, like you said, split it up. He had all these overlords. Best feeling happy about himself, as he should. He played well. He was able to come back from, maybe being slightly behind and a little scattered towards the mid-game there. But great game overall. So we are going to move on to the losers match, which is going to be, what is it? Lita versus...
Piano. Wait.
I think it's... I don't know. We're going to go on to the losers match. We'll talk to you guys then.